Welcome to the deep dive. It feels like every other day there's a new headline about artificial intelligence. It's definitely not just in some far-off data center anymore.
Not at all. It's right here, isn't it? Deeply integrated into the devices we hold closest, our smartphones.
Exactly. And today we're taking a deep dive into that cutting edge of mobile AI. We're putting Apple Intelligence head-to-head with Google Pixel's advanced AI features.
It's a fascinating comparison.
Right. Our mission here is to really pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge. We're looking at the latest announcements, some really deep comparisons, and maybe most importantly, actual user experiences.
Yeah, what people are actually finding useful, or maybe not so useful.
Precisely. We want to unpack what these new AI capabilities promise, how they truly work in the real world, and, what it all means for your daily life, your creativity, and even your privacy. So let's kick things off. Before we get into the specific features, like the flashy stuff, what's really powering all this, it feels like there's a serious hardware story underneath it all, an arms race almost.
That's exactly what it is. You hit the nail on the head. We're seeing a full-blown AI hardware arms race. Apple, Google, NVIDIA, they've all poured resources into building these specialized AI processors.
Specialized how?
Well, they're each optimized for different kinds of AI tasks, different workloads. Take Apple's neural engine, the ANE. They introduced that way back in 2017 with the A11 chip.
Okay.
It's Apple's own AI accelerator, and it's specifically designed for on-device AI processing. So on your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, the AI stuff happens right there.
And on-device processing.
Yeah.
What's the big deal there? Why does that matter for, us?
Oh, it's huge. Primarily privacy. Your data doesn't necessarily have to leave your phone. It also means lower power consumption, usually, and things can be really fast.
Like what kind of things?
Real-time features, mostly. Think Face ID, their computational photography, Smart HDR, Deep Fusion, and of course, Siri processing commands locally.
Gotcha. But there's always a catch, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's Apple's proprietary ecosystem, so it works best within their world. And it's not really built for that massive scale AI training you hear about, the kind that happens in the cloud.
Okay, so Apple's all about keeping things private, efficient, right there in your hand. Google, though, feels like they have a different angle.
They absolutely do. Google's answer is the Tensor Processing Unit, or TPU. They launched that back in 2016. It's a hardware accelerator specifically designed for deep learning, for heavy AI workloads.
And where do these TPUs live? Not in the phone, right?
Mostly in Google Cloud. They're optimized for Google's own TensorFlow framework, and they really power the AI behind a lot of Google services. They excel at high-speed AI training and inference.
Okay, quick clarification, training versus inference. Can you break that down simply?
Sure. Think of training as teaching the AI. You feed it just vast amounts of data, text, images, whatever, until it learns patterns. Inference is when that trained AI uses what it learned to make a prediction or do a task on new data it hasn't seen before.
So training is the school, inference is the job.
Kind of, yeah. And Google's TPUs are brilliant at both teaching these huge AI models like Gemini and then running them efficiently to power things like Google Search or Translate. The flip side is they're mainly in Google Cloud, less flexible outside that ecosystem.
Right. And then there's the third big player, NVIDIA. Their name pops up constantly with AI.
Constantly. NVIDIA's Tensor cores, found in their GPUs, their graphics cards, they've really become the industry standard for AI research and development since about 2017.
Why is that?
Massively parallel processing. They can handle enormous calculations simultaneously, which is perfect for both training complex AI models and running them afterwards. They're super versatile across different AI frameworks, even used for science, gaming.
But, it does a but.
Performance is unmatched, truly.
Yeah.
But they're expensive and they use a lot of power. So not really efficient for the kind of AI you want running constantly on your phone battery, that edge AI.
Okay, so we have these distinct philosophies playing out in the hardware. Apple focusing on device for privacy, efficiency. Google strong in the cloud for massive models, but bringing some on-device too with their own chips. And NVIDIA is kind of the backbone for a lot of the heavy lifting in the industry.
That's a great summary.
So the big question then, how do these different hardware choices actually show up in the AI features we get on our phones? Does it make a real difference day to day?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it gets really practical, and the differences are pretty stark, actually.
Okay, now this is where I think it gets really interesting for people. Apple rolls out Apple Intelligence with the iPhone 16 series. Their pitch is AI for the rest of us, built into everything, iPhone, iPad, Mac, Even the Vision Pro. What's the actual promise here? What are they saying it does?
They're promising a pretty wide-ranging set of tools, and the key word is integrated. For writing, you get these writing
What
tools,
do they do?
things like proofreading, rewriting text, say, to change the tone from formal to casual, summarizing chunks of text. Imagine getting the gist of a long group chat, or even a lecture in just seconds.
Okay, that could be useful.
And they say these tools will be available basically everywhere you write, even in apps made by other companies.
That seamless integration thing Apple loves. What about managing all the incoming stuff? Notifications, emails?
Yeah, communication gets a boost. You get prioritized notifications bubbling up to the top, summaries of notifications so you can scan them quickly. Priority messages in mail tries to figure out which emails are time-sensitive.
Trying to cut through the noise.
Exactly. And there's a reduce interruptions focus mode that supposedly understands the content of notifications, only letting through really urgent things like a text saying you need to pick up your kid. Smart replies in mail can spot questions in an email and suggest answers.
It's definitely pushing towards that idea of a proactive assistant, not just reactive. What else is in the toolkit? Anything more creative?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For images, there's Image Playground. Lets you create fun, original images just by describing them. And you can pick styles like animation or sketch.
Like those AI image generators we see online.
Sort of, but built right in. Then there's Genmoji, making custom emojis from a description, or even using someone from your photo library.
Okay, that sounds fun. Maybe a bit gimmicky.
Could be, depending on your use case. There's also Image Wand in the Notes app that can turn rough sketches into proper images or create pictures in empty spaces based on the surrounding notes.
It's interesting.
Plus, you can create custom memory movies in Photos just by describing what you want. Search your photos and videos using natural language like find pictures of the dog playing fetch and a cleanup tool to remove distracting objects from photos.
So, quite a lot on the visual side. And what about Siri, the original phone assistant? Is she getting smarter?
Supposedly, yes. A whole new design, first off that glowing light effect. You can type to Siri now from anywhere. They claim it has much better language understanding, remembers context from previous requests. Right. And on-screen awareness, so it knows what you're looking at. Like if there's an address in a text message, you can ask Siri to add it to a contact. It can also use your personal context, searching across your notes, texts, emails to find info. And it can supposedly take action in and across apps more smoothly.
And the ChatGPT link, that was big news.
Yeah, Siri and the writing tools can optionally tap into ChatGPT for more complex queries, but Apple stresses that you control when that happens, when info is shared.
And privacy is the big banner they're waving over all this.
Absolutely. Huge emphasis. Most processing is on device. For more complex stuff that needs more power, it goes to what they call private cloud compute.
What's that?
Basically, Apple servers running on Apple Silicon designed specifically for these AI tasks. They promise the data is cryptographically secured, never stored, only used for your request, and crucially, it's verifiable. Security researchers can inspect the code running on these servers.
Okay, that sounds incredibly ambitious, a really integrated private AI. But there's always a but. How are people actually finding it? We saw some pretty blunt feedback from David Gortz, right? He got the new iPhone 16 Pro Max specifically for this stuff.
Yeah, his experience paints a, let's say, less enthusiastic picture, his overall take. Despite buying the phone for Apple Intelligence, hoping for productivity gains, he says, and I quote, haven't touched any of the Apple Intelligence tools for actual productive work since getting the phone.
Wow, okay, why not?
He calls the writing tools proofread, summarize, rewrite, table stakes.
Yeah.
Basically features that other chatbots like ChatGPT have had since 2022. He also mentions he just doesn't do heavy writing on his phone anyway.
Prefers a proper keyboard, maybe.
Exactly, a MacBook or iPad. He says existing iOS dictation is fine for quick replies. Interestingly, he loves the voice memo transcription feature from iOS 18, calls it a game changer, but points out it's not officially part of Apple Intelligence.
So some useful new iOS features, but the specific AI ones not landing for him. What about the Siri upgrade? He wasn't impressed.
He acknowledges the design is prettier, but finds no real productivity value in the upgrade. The ChatGPT integration. He describes it as just a text pop-up response from Siri asking if you want to send the query to ChatGPT.
So not seamless.
Not in his view. He even quips that freshman programming students were doing that back in 2023 and says the dedicated ChatGPT app with actual voice chat is vastly better.
Ouch. And the notification and email management, the AI sorting?
He's skeptical.
Yeah.
Worries about relying on provably fallible AI to manage important messages. He prefers his existing system, turning off non-essential notifications and using emergency bypass for critical contacts. Plus, he points out that Gmail has had priority inbox and categories since around 2013.
Okay, so seeing parallels with existing tech. What about the photo and image creation tools? The Genmoji, Image Wand.
He finds the remove background feature useful, but notes it actually arrived before Apple Intelligence back in iOS 16, the new cleanup tool. Powerful for quick social media edits, he says, but he'd still use Photoshop for real control.
And the creative stuff? Image Playground.
The custom movie maker isn't relevant for him. The natural language photo search. He found it unreliable, failed to find pixel under a blanket, but did find 3D printer, Image Playground, Image Wand, Genmoji. He calls them cute, but says they serve no real practical purpose in my workflow, adding that other tools are more capable.
And the feature called visual intelligence, that sounded potentially powerful.
He calls it a giant nothing burger. Basically, zero value in his opinion, and maybe even unnecessarily predatory marketing hype.
Oh, why?
Because he says it's just a shortcut. You press the camera control button on the Pro phones, and it sends the picture to either ChatGPT for analysis or Google for an image search. Things you could already easily do with Google Lens or the ChatGPT app on much older iPhones.
So just repackaging existing functions via a new button.
That's his take.
Yeah.
And on privacy, while he acknowledges Apple's efforts with on-device and private cloud compute, he still points out that if you do send a query to ChatGPT via Apple Intelligence, even if anonymized, it's still going into ChatGPT's massive data pool to be cataloged and processed in undisclosed ways.
Right. So we've got Apple's really ambitious vision, this integrated private AI, but then this real-world feedback suggesting maybe it's underwhelming right now or just catching up, which leads to that question, is Apple just playing catch-up or is this like laying the groundwork for something bigger later on?
It's probably a bit of both, honestly. But it's fascinating to contrast it with Google's approach, because they've been in this on-device AI game for a bit longer, you could argue.
Exactly. Let's pivot to Google. They've been pushing their Tensor chips and AI features for a few years now. The Pixel 9 Pro XL seems squarely aimed at the iPhone. How is Google tackling mobile AI? What are their key things?
Google's strategy really revolves around their custom silicon, the Tensor chips. The latest is the Tensor G4 in the Pixel 9 series. It's explicitly designed to run Google's own advanced AI models efficiently on the phone.
Like Gemini?
Exactly. They boast it's the first processor that can run Gemini Nano with multimodality, meaning it can understand text, images, and audio, all processed locally on the device. Google makes a point of saying helpful on-device intelligence is not new for us. For them, Tensor has always been about bringing their machine learning breakthroughs into your pocket.
So they're framing it as evolution, not revolution. What are some concrete examples? What AI features does the Pixel offer that showcase this?
Well, there's Add Me. It's pretty clever. It lets you insert someone into a photo after it's taken, specifically designed for the group photographer who's never in the shot.
Huh. I know that person. That could actually be really useful.
Right. Then you have call notes and record a summarization. Record a phone call or meeting, and it summarizes it for you, generates bullet points, works with audio recordings, even handwritten notes, apparently.
Meeting summaries. Huge time saver potential there.
Definitely. There's also pixel screenshots. You can use natural language. Just ask questions about the content of your screenshots to find details later. Helps organize that mess of screenshots we all have.
Oh, tell me about it. What else?
Magic Editor is a big one. AI-powered photo editing lets you move, remove, resize things or people in your photos. You can even reimagine entire scenes, change the sky, the background, using text prompts.
So going beyond just simple cleanup.
Way beyond. Circle to search is super simple, but effective. Just draw a circle on anything on your screen, and it searches for it contextually.
I've seen demos of that. It looks handy.
Very. Smart Reply drafts email responses, similar to Apple's, identifying questions. Video Boost is interesting. It uploads your video to the cloud.
Cloud-based.
Yeah, for this one. Google applies heavy post-processing for better dynamic range, better low-light quality. You can even upscale 4K video to 8K.
But it takes time, right?
That's the trade-off, yeah. It takes a few hours. And finally, Audio Magic Eraser removes unwanted background noise from audio recordings.
Okay, so a really broad range of features from Google, often very practical, solving everyday annoyances or adding creative flair, sometimes using the cloud. But again, the user experience. What are Pixel 9 Pro owners actually saying? We looked at some Reddit discussions, right? What's the vibe?
It's really mixed, which is fascinating in itself. On the positive side, Lots of people find things genuinely useful, summarizing articles, notes, even YouTube videos to make grocery, people call that pretty solid, a real-time saver.
The practical stuff.
Exactly. Add Me gets consistent praise, really helpful for the family photographer. Call notes and recorder summarization are seen as valuable for work calls or meetings. Circle to Search is widely called very useful.
And Gemini itself, the core AI.
People use it for general questions, travel planning, getting ideas for emails, even help with Google Sheets formulas. Some describe magical moments like identifying a mountain range from a photo or adding event details to their calendar directly from an image invitation. And the image generation Pixel Studio users found it fast and fun for things like making a quick logo or just creative play. Even the temperature sensor found niche uses for some.
Okay, so a lot of positives, a lot of practical wins, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, was it? What were the complaints?
No, definitely not. A significant chunk of users called the AI features party tricks or gimmicks. Some explicitly said they wouldn't base a phone decision around it. Some just hadn't used the AI features much at all.
Why not? What were the specific frustrations?
A major one was summed up as AI with guardrails sucks. This refers to Gemini sometimes refusing to answer questions maybe about politics, or in one specific example cited, the location of a restaurant.
Ah, the AI being maybe too cautious or PC.
That was the user frustration, yeah. They also noted inconsistency. Gemini might refuse a request, like controlling smart lights or checking the calendar, and then do it perfectly moments later. Suggests it could be buggy.
Reliability issues.
And comparisons to ChatGPT were common. Many found Gemini way worse for what they called real work, like coding, mentioning ChatGPT remembers context much better.
Interesting. What about how it integrates with the phone itself?
That was another criticism. Gemini Advanced apparently struggles to seamlessly handle requests like show me photos of X or play this song or set a reminder, things Siri often handles easily, makes it feel frustrating. It also has limited access to non-Google apps, like processing emails and Outlook.
Integration gaps.
Yeah, and some features just weren't available in all countries where the phone is sold. Performance-wise, while Google talks up efficiency, the Tensor G4 chip itself underwhelmed in benchmarks compared to Apple's A18 Pro. More like last year's mid-range chips, apparently.
So maybe not as powerful under the hood for raw tasks.
Seems that way. And for Video Boost, impressive results. But that few hours wait time for cloud processing. A big turnoff for people wanting to quickly post to social media. They want instant gratification.
Makes sense. So despite the cool features, there are definite rough edges and limitations.
For sure. But even with the criticism, there's this underlying feeling from many users that AI features have the potential to be amazing, that this is the future. Though some are skeptical if Google will stick with it consistently, or if features will reach older phones.
So a real split decision. Google's got some genuinely useful, sometimes fun AI tools, but faces issues with consistency, those guardrails, maybe performance, and the cloud delays. Apple, meanwhile, is maybe playing catch-up on some features, but perhaps has a smoother, more integrated vision, albeit one that some users find underwhelming right now.
That's a good way to put it.
This brings us perfectly to the camera, because that's where so much of this AI really comes into play, isn't it? It's a huge battleground. How do these AI differences affect the photos and videos we take?
Hugely. The camera is where mobile AI really flexes its muscles, impacting not just image quality, but how we edit, share, and even perceive our own memories. It's fundamental.
Okay, let's talk cameras then. Big fight between iPhone and Pixel here, always has been. How does the AI influence things now? What's the basic philosophy difference?
Well, at a high level, both take fantastic photos. Great detail, good dynamic range, can't really go wrong. But there is a difference in look. The iPhone 16 Pro Max generally aims for a more natural, neutral look. Colors tend to be more accurate to reality.
Okay. And the Pixel.
The Pixel 9 Pro XL has that characteristic Pixel look, often higher contrast, maybe a bit more processed, sometimes leaning slightly cooler blue, though sometimes described as a balanced tone. It's a definite style.
Style versus accuracy, maybe? What about the hardware specs and how AI plays into them? Main camera.
The iPhone defaults to 24-megapixel photos in good light, capturing generally a lot more detail than the Pixel's 12MP default. You can often read text better in iPhone shots. In low light, the iPhone shots are often described as a little bit brighter, cleaner, with less noise.
Okay, advantage iPhone for detail and low light on the main sensor. What about selfies? That's huge for many.
Here, the Pixel 9 Pro XL pulls ahead, specs-wise. A new 42-megapixel selfie camera compared to iPhone's 12MP. The result is visibly sharper selfies, and a much wider field of view. Some people actually prefer that pixel processing for faces.
Interesting. Telephoto, zoom lenses.
Both offer 5x optical zoom. In good daylight, especially when you push the zoom further, like 25x, the pixel can often look a tad sharper. Part of that is Google's Zoom Enhance AI feature sharpening things up, but
Nice.
it can look a little bit artificial sometimes, that AI sharpening. And in low light zoom, the sources say the iPhone is so much better, much cleaner, less noisy images at 5x, 10x, even 25x zoom after dark.
Big difference there. Ultra wide.
The Pixel's ultra-wide is generally wider, sometimes shows more detail in shadows, but again, the iPhone often gets praised for more accurate colors. The Pixel's ultra-wide can sometimes introduce a weird green tint or struggle with sunset colors. Both do macro photos using autofocus on the ultra-wide, which is nice.
So it's really a trade-off depending on the specific lens and lighting. But the AI isn't just taking the picture, right? It's about what you do after. What are the key AI editing features?
Exactly. Google's been doing this for years. We've mentioned Magic Editor, move things, remove things, change the whole scene. Best Take lets you swap faces and group shots to get the perfect expression on everyone. And add me putting the photographer into the picture.
Really powerful manipulation tools. What's Apple bringing with Apple Intelligence on the photo editing front?
Apple's main answer is Cleanup, which works similarly to Google's older Magic Eraser for removing distractions. Then you have the creative stuff. Image Playground for generating images, Image Wand for sketches, Genmoji, and that visual intelligence feature, which as we heard is basically just a shortcut to send a photo to ChatGPT or Google Lens.
So Google seems much further ahead on the in-photo manipulation AI, while Apple's newer AI is more about generation or basic cleanup.
Broadly speaking, yes, Google has years of experience here. But then there's video.
Ah, yes, video. Apple's traditional stronghold. How does AI play out there?
iPhone 16 Pro Max keeps pushing. 4K video at 120 frames per second, which is amazing for slow-mo. Plus professional formats like Dolby Vision, ProRes, low-log recording stuff serious videographers want. You can even adjust frame rates after shooting. Low-light video is excellent, stabilization is top-notch, and cinematic mode now does 4K with that adjustable background blur, even on the front camera.
Still very strong fundamentals. What's Google's AI answer for video?
The Pixel's big play is Video Boost, using cloud AI, remember. The results are apparently very impressive, especially for dynamic range and low light. Plus, it can upscale 4K to 8K.
But the catch is the waiting time.
Exactly, those few hours for processing. Only works in the main camera, too. The Pixel does have AI for audio and video, though. Speech enhancement to clarify voices, and Audio Magic Eraser for background noise.
And Apple's audio for video.
They've improved mics for studio quality recording and added a feature called Audio Mix with different spatial audio profiles. Sources say it cancels noise well, but maybe can sound a little artificial sometimes.
Okay, so it really does feel like two different approaches again, doesn't it? iPhone seems focused on strong, reliable, high-quality capture out of the box, great for pros. Pixel leans more into AI post-processing, creative edits, maybe more experimental stuff for photos and video.
Precisely. And this leads directly to a really crucial point that came up in the sources. This blurring line between what's real and what's edited or even created by AI in our photos.
Yeah, with things like Magic Editor, Add Me. You can fundamentally change a picture so easily now.
It raises big questions about authenticity, about trusting what we see, which brings up something important for you, the listener, to think about. As these AI tools get better and easier to use, letting us alter our visual memories, how do you navigate that? How do you discern what was actually captured versus what was intelligently crafted after the fact?
That's a heavy question. So wrapping this deep dive up, we've journeyed through the mobile AI landscape, compared Apple Intelligence and Google Pixel AI. What are the main things that stand out to you from all this? Maybe it's the hardware differences, the cloud versus on-device debate, or maybe those ethical questions?
I think a few key things crystallize. First, the choice of phone really is becoming tied to the underlying AI hardware philosophy. Are you leaning towards Apple's on-device focus with the neural engine, prioritizing privacy and efficiency? Or Google's strength in cloud training via TPUs, plus their own tensor chips, driving creative, often cloud-assisted features on the device itself?
The foundation matters.
Definitely. Second, Apple Intelligence. It promises that seamless AI for the rest of us, strong on privacy with on-device and private cloud compute. But at least initially, some users see it as playing catch-up, calling features table stakes, or finding limited real-world value, especially for power users.
Promise versus current reality.
All right, third, Google Pixel's AI. It offers some genuinely useful practical tools. Summarization, Magic Editor, AdMe, Circle to Search demonstrates a real focus on solving everyday problems.
Hmm.
But it's hampered by inconsistency, those frustrating guardrails, and the reliance on sometimes slow cloud processing for features like video boost.
Strengths and weaknesses there.
And finally, the camera AI. It's a major battleground. iPhone emphasizes strong native capture, especially in video, appealing to pros. Pixel champions creative AI post-processing for photos and video, pushing boundaries, but maybe at the cost of processing time or benchmark performance.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, both the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Pixel 9 Pro XL, they're incredible phones, right? Each just has different AI strengths.
Absolutely phenomenal devices. The choice for you might boil down to, do you value Apple's raw performance, integrated ecosystem, and strong privacy stance? Or are you drawn to Google's cutting-edge, sometimes experimental, but often very practical, software-driven AI creativity?
A choice based on AI philosophy almost.
Pretty much. And connecting this to the bigger picture, it's undeniable. AI is profoundly changing how we interact with our phones. It's moving past simple commands toward anticipating needs, learning our habits, transforming how we create and consume content.
Which leads us to that final thought.
Exactly. A final thought for you to chew on. As these incredibly powerful AI tools make it almost trivial to alter our digital realities, adding people who weren't there, changing skies, rewriting history in photos, what new responsibilities fall on us? Both as creators using these tools and as consumers trying to figure out what's real versus what's been intelligently crafted.